Maybe the most important question I think people watching this video could ask in terms of developing a better game of golf, Alex, would be, does the swing create the shot or does the shot create the swing?
I'd say a lot of people would say the swing creates the shot.
So the idea being that if you make the club go into certain positions that you'll produce great shots.
Exactly.
The problem is take that out on the golf course and it doesn't really work.
No.
Now if I said to you, I want you to imagine that you were hitting a low punch, just make the practice swing for that. Okay, now I want you to imagine that you're actually hitting a high draw. Would you say those swings were different?
They felt different in terms of what they're doing, yeah.
Absolutely, they were different swings. So having the intent to create the shot changed the movement. Now there's a great story from years ago. Apparently the great Sam Sneads, when somebody asked him, Sam, what do you do when you're hooking the ball? And he said, I just go to the range and I slice it for a while. Now what seems a throwaway comment and a trite answer has some genius in it, because what Snead instinctively knew, that if he'd got too much shape this way going on, if he hit the opposite shape for a while, that would kind of bring the swing back into the balance. So maybe the question we should be asking more than anything else in golf is not so much what is wrong with my swing, a bit more what is wrong with my shots.
Sure. What
shot can't I hit? Now you imagine if you've got a guy, many people watching this has perhaps have a struggle with losing the ball to the right, hitting fade shots. All of a sudden now, if I asked you to hit a couple of shots here, Alex, where I want you to imagine, if you step back here, first of all, and I want you to imagine that you're actually hitting a draw shape.
Okay.
Okay, can you picture that?
Almost like you're seeing like a shot trace in your
head.
head.
A shot trace, the ball starting to the right and moving to the left.
Yeah.
Let's see if your body can organise something around that intention. Okay. So the ball started a little bit to the right.
And came round to the left.
And turned over. Okay, let's imagine now that you're actually coming back here, and I want you to imagine even more shape on that. So it's starting even further to the right and coming back.
Would you suggest coming back here as a key?
100%. So what we want to do with this is replicate exactly what's going to happen on the golf course. Because when we're on the golf course, we want to be able to create golf shots. As far as I'm aware, at the end of a round, they ask you how many shots you take. They don't ask you how many swings you made.
No.
So it's about getting into the habit of creativity on the range. So see this ball starting a little bit more to the right, drawing to the left. Beautiful shot.
Nice hit that as well.
Now, how much thinking about your golf swing did you do then?
Nothing. I was just trying to picture as best I could in my mind what I was trying to create.
So could it be that by Alex having a very clear picture of the shot he tried to play, could it be that your body seemed to organise movements to produce that?
Definitely.
It seemed that way. Now imagine if you'd been a slicer and you were actually able to do that, we're now doing the opposite. We're actually creating different impact conditions. And yeah, I know people listening to this would think, okay, well, it's all very well and good saying that for a good player to picture shots, but even at any level, if you're out there and you're trying to hit a certain shot and you can't play that shot, then you can work with the coach on what you need to do to produce it. Yeah. But the minute we get much more into golf shots rather than golf swings, we're actually training to be able to take the shots out onto the golf course. So it also lends into the idea with this that it becomes a very non-technical way of changing.
Sure, that felt like, honestly, like I wouldn't do anything different in my mind. All I was trying to do is react to the scenario that was in front of me.
The pictures, yeah. You know, and that's what we would do in other things. If we were throwing a ball, we'd see where we intended the ball to go and the body reacts to that. So another drill I would suggest, and this is perhaps a more advanced drill, but again I would recommend, you know, at all levels attempting it, is what I call the 9-shot drill. So the 9-shot drill would be, you've got draw, straight, fade, high, medium and low. Oh. Basically what you're trying to get through the grid as quickly as possible. So if I call out high draw and you hit a high draw, you move on to another part of the grid. Now the great thing about this is it will show up your tendencies, what you're able to do. But imagine on any given day before you went out to play and you warmed up towards the end with the 9-shot drill and you could only hit 2 of those shots on a given day.
There you go.
What do you know?
You know what you're working on that day.
You know, Jack Nicklaus had a saying, you know, you've got to dance with the woman who brought you. You know, in the sense that you've got to go with what you've got today. So that's a great way. You know, I believe you could win a major tournament with only 3 or 4 of those shots. You don't need all 9. Wonderful if you have them, but it's a great focusing exercise. So let's just begin here, Alex, with that.
So, Carl, you call me, what one do you want me to hit first?
I'm going to ask you to hit a low fade.
Low fade.
Very good. High draw. That's
Nice
2 of the
one.
9 done. Make it a bit more difficult for you.
And I guess, like you're saying, if there's areas that come up and the shots that you can't hit, that is when you could probably go and ask for some advice and work out what you need to get that.
And this is the essence of developing skills. Do you have the skill to hit a high draw? Do you have the skill to hit a low fade? Because ultimately, it's no good having a good looking golf swing if it can't produce shots.
At certain times.
When we get to play the game of golf, how do we actually beat the course? How do we beat the course designer? We beat them by producing certain shots. So it perfectly links in. I look at this game, you're not only training technically, but you're training physically and mentally.
Yeah, so every aspect you
Every aspect is being covered.
So next one?
So low straight.
Could be for a while, eh?
I'd have to give you that one.
Yeah, that was nice that.
So we won't go through the whole grid, but you can imagine now Alex's practice session, he would see whether he was able to hit all of the 9 shots in the grid there, how long it took, what his shot patterns are, what his tendencies are, but how much better and how much more engaged are you with your practice playing a game like that than just aimlessly beating golf balls?
Definitely, and I also see the extra added value is doing it before going and play a round, whether that's your normal round on a Saturday or a tournament round for myself. You know what's making you tick that day.
Yeah, the difference between training and just practicing.